Good afternoon. It's Friday, January 25th. I just came back from the Capitol. The legislators are on their way home to enjoy their communities with all of you. It's been a busy week. It's going to get busier as the weeks go by. Status report. House Bill 1094 is our bill on surrogacy arrangements. That we're holding back, and that won't be scheduled for hearing until we ascertain whether a competing surrogacy bill is going to be dropped in, which would make it criminal or outlawed, which we will fight. 1096 is our transfer on death deed uniform law bill, slightly modified to better fit South Dakota. That came out unanimously this morning from House Judiciary. 1097 is the work comp bill, which provides that if the employer or their carrier decline to cover medical costs for whatever reason, the health carrier will pay, subject to subrogation back, should it ultimately be determined that the injury was in fact work-related. That was heard and came out unanimous this morning also. House Bill 1106 is the revised edition of the Limited Liability Company. That was heard in House Judiciary this morning. Representative Lust presented that bill along with me, and that came out unanimously. On the transfer on death back at 1096, Department of Social Services expressed some concern on being able to recoup Medicaid payments that might have been made. Now obviously they would know if the person dies, they're going to know about it, but in some instances with joint tenancy residencies, they can't file a lien, and when the person getting Medicaid is the first one to die, they don't necessarily know when the second one dies, and of course they can't boot them out of their residence while the spouse is still alive. We're going to work on that over the weekend and see if there's something that we can do to address their concerns. Earlier this week, House Bill 1007, which would have outlawed your perpetual conservancy easements, we testified against that bill and helped kill it. That failed in House Ag Committee on a 7-6 vote. I doubt that they'll try to smoke it out and bring it to the floor. The floor killed the same bill last year on a 2-to-1 vote, like 44-22 or something. The shared parenting bill is now Senate Bill 125. That's the bad one. It creates, the first time in the country, it creates a presumption of 50-50. Many states have a presumption of joint legal custody. I'm unaware of any state that has a presumption in favor of joint physical custody. We are going to fight that bill too, because we think that the starting place ought not to be on the parents 50-50, it ought to be on the kids. And that means, that should mean that the best interest of the children is the overriding concern when the parents can't agree. Finally, just dropped in late this morning, Senate Bill 198. Senate Bill 198 is the third time in my tenure of being the exec director of the State Bar where the legislature makes a move to take away our appointments to Judicial Qualifications Commission. Senate Bill 198, currently, I'll digress for a second with you. The governor gets 2 lay appointments, can't be of the same political party. The Judicial Association, or Judges Association, they get 2 appointments, and they're elected. Those are nonpartisan, just like our judges run on a nonpartisan basis. The State Bar gets 3 on that commission, and no more than 2 can be of any one political party. This bill would take away 2 of the State Bar's appointments and vest the appointing authority as the President Pro Tem of the Senate and the Speaker of the House. I've met twice today with the prime sponsor, and and I'm trying to dissuade him that his bill is bad public policy. The last thing I'll leave you with, if you want to follow bills and get bill statuses, you can go to the LRC website, and that address is legis, L-E-G-I-S, state.sd.us. And you can actually create a list of bills that you want to follow, and when you go to visit that website, it'll automatically bring up those bills. And the other thing that you can do is, if you're tracking those bills, is it'll tell you what committee it was assigned to, and then you can pull up the calendars of the committees and see when the bill has been posted for a public hearing. With regard to the shared parenting, to the extent that any of you have contacts, you go to the Cracker Barrels this weekend, they're just starting. You can check and see if they're a sponsor or not, and even whether they're a sponsor or not. If you do family law, let them know. The 125 is a very bad bill. Last year we addressed the issue where it was claimed by the proponents from last year on shared parenting that there were judges in South Dakota that didn't believe they could award shared parenting arrangements, and so we passed a bill that says that a judge can award actual physical custody in such proportions as are in the best interest of the children, even over the objection of the other parent. So we've addressed that situation. One of my arguments is, let's see how it works. It's only been in effect since July 1. And so to the extent that you have an interest, I encourage you to talk to your legislators and such other legislators as you, with whom you may be acquainted. That's it for this week, and thanks for tuning in, and I'll report next week. Next week we work Monday through Thursday, so you'll have the update next Thursday. Have a good weekend.